Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, the Never Seen It series is back. If you are new here and you like content like this, then hit that red subscribe down below so you don't miss out on anything in the future. Now, if you are new to my channel and you've never heard of the Never Seen It series, I decided to start doing this when the phenomenon started, movie theaters shut down, and I was going through my Blu-ray collection and pulled out all the movies that I've never seen before, like in my entire life. We're talking classic movies here. Staples in some people's collection that I just have never seen. So I've put them aside and I'm trying to bust through that collection as best as I can. You know, life gets a little busy. But this past week, I focused on the Fast and Furious collection. That's right. There are some entries of this franchise that I had never seen before. I've seen the first one, 7, 8, and Hobbs Shaw. But the others, I did not. So the entire last week, I binged every single one in order, mind you. That's right. That's right. I don't do anything half-assed. I did it in order, and I gotta say, it's good. It's good. There are some clunkers in there, but we will get into that. However, this is not only going to be a never seen it, oh, we're just going to talk about the movies thing. I'm doing a spontaneous ranking on top of it. I have no idea what I'm going to pull as my bottom or my top. Live on camera. This is live on camera that I'm doing this. All right, so who's ready? Let's get started. Now, before we get into the actual ranking, let's just talk about Fast and Furious for a little bit. The entire franchise, it knows what it is. It started in 2001. Can you believe it? Almost 20 years ago, this franchise started and it's still around. And I think that's something to be recognized, honestly, because some franchises do not last that long. Considering in the very first movie, it started off as an kind of an independent, almost underground film about street racing. And now it has turned into a billion-dollar franchise that focuses on, yes, car chases, but with Fast 5, the entire franchise kind of spinned around, and it didn't really focus on cars anymore, but the outlandish stunts and predicaments that our family gets into. So that is actually part of the fun of this franchise. With every single movie now, they're just one-upping themselves and they're trying to go bigger and badder and more fast and more furious. I almost got that out correctly. More fast and more furious every single movie. This is why I'm so excited for Fast 9. I'm really, really looking forward to what they're doing. And if you've seen the trailer for Fast 9, we have a family member returning, which is extremely exciting. All right, but who's ready? Let's get into the ranking. Let's get into the ranking. This is exciting. All right, at my bottom, in the number 9 spot, Tokyo Drift. I think this is pretty obvious. I mean, number 1, it doesn't have our family members in it, except for Han. Han is the only character, and because this movie is out of order with the rest of the franchise, we find out after Fast 6 why he really goes to Tokyo and why he's there. It follows around a teenager that we have no attachment to whatsoever. We have no backstory, no history. Why should we care about this person? This is my biggest problem with Tokyo Drift. And besides the fact that it's one of the worst cases of a 30-year-old playing a 17-year-old that I've ever seen in my life, but also the recycled plot within its own movie is something else I also have a big issue with. The start of the movie, the 17-year-old, he's drag racing with this football player because he was caught flirting with his girlfriend, so they're racing for her. And then, of course, they get in trouble. He gets shipped off to Tokyo, and guess what? In Tokyo, he does the same thing. He goes into class one day, sees the hottest girl in school, starts talking to her. Turns out her boyfriend is part of the Yakuza, which is like the Japanese mob or something, and drag races him. It's a recycled plot within its own movie. So, Tokyo Drift, you can drift on out of here. All right, so you're at the bottom. You're at the bottom. Mind you, you know, the whole franchise is watchable. It really is. But when it comes to the best and the worst, that is the worst. That is the worst. All right, let's go with the number 8 spot. Number 8 is going to go to Now this is a double, so don't look at this side. Too Fast, Too Furious. That is in the number 8 spot. This is the sequel, the number 2. It doesn't have Vin Diesel. I'm not exactly sure why he didn't return for the second installment. Thank God Paul Walker did. I guess the plus side is that we did get Roman Pierce out of it, Tyrese, and they do explain that history between his character and Brian's character, which is nice. That's a good anchor for the film. But as far as the actual plot line and the script, I consider it very weak. And then the very end of it, I was left hanging. I wanted more when they jumped the car onto the boat, and then that was it, kind of. And then Eva Mendes held a gun in the guy's face. I thought we were going to get more than that. I was excited for a really great climax at the end, and it just left me feeling lackluster. So, Too Fast, Too Furious, you didn't live up to your name, I don't think. All right. Let's choose again. Which one? Fate of the Furious is in the number 7 spot. Because, in my opinion, this one is way too emotional. It's very emotional. First of all, we have the baby situation going on with Elena and Dom. And after watching this most recent time and seeing every movie in order, I was kind of wondering, does the timeline match up with this movie? Because I was thinking about it, and with Furious 7, that meant when she was falling outside of a window when The Rock was fighting with Jason Statham and The Rock, protected her and fell out the window, she was pregnant and the baby survived. It just doesn't seem plausible to me. I feel like the plot line, every single plot line in this movie is very far-fetched, is extremely far-fetched. And this pretty much was the vehicle to set up the spin-off of Hobbs and Shaw, because I felt like in Fast 8, they focused on Hobbs and Shaw, whereas the main characters that we know and love, and that's the reason why we go to see this franchise, were pushed off to the wayside. And I felt like they were the secondary characters. And if that's true, then I kind of understand why they're a little upset about the spinoff and why they didn't want The Rock and Jason Statham around for the 9th installment, because they want to shine. It's their movie, it's their time, it's their franchise. They've been putting in so many years, and to take a back seat is actually kind of insulting. And I thought that the villain of Charlize Theron, yes, I love Charlize, but I felt like because of her dominance and her character and everything, that is another reason why our family that we love also took a back seat. If you're following what I'm saying, I don't know if I'm putting it out in a correct way, but I don't know. The Fate of the Furious just felt like a jumble of different reasons why it just didn't work. And plus everything was so outlandish. And that's one of the reasons why we watch these movies, is to just turn our brain off for 2 hours. The circumstances are unbelievable, yes, but we just go with it. But with this time, in Russia, on ice, a submarine, come on. I don't know about that one. So all of those circumstances combined is why number 8 is so low at the bottom for me. All right, moving forward, we will put Hobbs and Shaw in the next spot. I don't hate it. I like the chemistry between The Rock and Jason Statham. It could get a little bit tiring during the movie, I have to say. Sometimes it just felt like, oh, we're doing the shtick again of the fighting. I just wanted to see action, man. And trust me, there is a lot of action in this movie. The sister element, I enjoyed that, having her come in, kind of having a little possible romantic chemistry with The Rock. That is interesting, because if they do another one of these, which I'm sure they are going to, then that is something that we can explore in a future movie. Are Hobbs and Shaw going to become in-laws? I don't know. Maybe that can be the tagline for the next movie. I don't know. But the circumstances are completely outlandish. Way, way, way over the top. But again, that is a reason why we love it. But I love other movies more. So I apologize, Hobbs and Shaw. You're not that close to the top. You're almost there, but you're not that close. All right. Next up on the list. Next up. Fast and Furious. This is not the first one. This is the fourth one. And I have to say, out of all of the movies, this is the only one that I can't remember the plot off the top of my head. Like if you held a gun to my head and said, Susan, your life depends on you saying the plot of Fast and Furious, I couldn't do it. I really couldn't. I actually have to look at the back of this and read what it's about. That's a problem for me. However, the reason why it's higher on the list is because it's the original crew. It's our family that we know and love. And this movie is kind of when the whole vibe of the franchise started changing around a little bit. And the end definitely got you excited for where installment number 5 was definitely going, because Dom is in the bus and all of a sudden the cars are coming up behind the prison bus to break him out, and you know what's going to happen. And then it closed, and then that's how Fast 5 opened, and it was a brand new franchise from that point on. But Fast and Furious, I just got to remember your plot, man. I just got to remember your plot. All right, next up is going to be the original. Don't look at this side. The Fast and the Furious. The very first one. Like I had mentioned before, this was a little underground movie that had no expectations whatsoever, certainly not of becoming a billion-dollar franchise and hanging around for almost 20 years. And that is what it has turned into. It was just such a great, just like relationship movie. That's what it was. It did have the drag racing element, obviously, which is the big draw of the film. But it also opened your eyes to that world, because I don't think many people understood that world. And I mean, it does exist. It's out there, you know. And the relationship factor, though, between that's the baseline of the entire film, of the family and the loyalty and the relationships and that bond that builds between Dom and Brian, and the relationship between Brian and Mia. And you have, you know, Letty in there, everything. It's just it's the building of the relationships that's, I think, is the main focus of the movie. And then everything else kind of comes secondary. So that is why I enjoy The Fast and the Furious, the number one, but it's not number one on this list. All right, let's continue. Let's continue on. Ooh, this is tough. We have 5, 6, and 7. 5, 6, and 7. All right. This is going to kill me, but I'm going to put Furious 7 in the number 3 spot. And this is big, because I had this previously of the movies that I had seen so far as my number 1 choice. But after seeing everything, it's got to go to number 3. Obviously, this is the most emotional movie for the reasons that we know. The demise, unfortunately, of Paul Walker. And it just really hits you. Every single time you watch it, I cry when I hear the music, okay? It's so emotional. I'm looking down at this, I'm sorry. But not only is it emotional, but it is one of the best movies in the franchise that has fantastic action scenes. I mean, that action scene when Brian is on the back of that bus and it's going over the cliff and he is running for dear life and jumps, catches Letty's spoiler. That is one of the best action scenes, I do have to say. And coming from James Wan, this was directed by James Wan, and he's known for horror movies. I gotta say, he took on this project and he really did it well. Plus, I like going to different locations. We went to Abu Dhabi. It was just all over the place. And I like that. I like when we go to different locations. And Fast 8 did the same thing. They went to New York City and Russia and a whole bunch of other places. So I like when we travel. I like when Fast and Furious travels around. So I'm kind of hoping Fast 9 does the same thing. But Furious 7, you're in the number 3 spot. All right. Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6, guys. Which is the number 1? You know what? Fast and Furious 6 is going to be number 2. It kills me to put it at number 2. I really enjoy it. I really, really do. But I feel like the heist element in Fast 5 is just a little bit better. But we'll get to that in just a second. So let's talk about Fast and Furious 6. This was an important movie because it's the return of Letty. We all thought that she was dead and gone. But did we? Did we think she was dead? I mean, I think in this franchise, no one stays dead. Obviously, with what's happening with Fast 9. Anyway. But with Fast and Furious 6, we have Letty coming back to us. We have a really great villain. What was his first name? It's Deckard Shaw's brother. But I forget what his first name is. But he was a great villain. The twist that the female cop was actually the mole and she was with the villains. I really love that element. I love a good twist. So I really enjoyed that. But it's just wonderful to see everyone in the family having those moments of they're having their moment to shine. Sorry I said moments so often, but you get what I'm saying. Every person had their time to shine in this film. There we go. That's the reason why I love Fast and Furious 6 so much. I mean, we said goodbye to some characters. Giselle, obviously, but she went on to be Wonder Woman. So anyway, what am I saying anymore? Fast and Furious 6 is just a great movie. Let's move on to my number 1 choice. It's going to be Fast 5, simply because this movie is what turned the entire franchise around into what it is today. We introduced The Rock into this franchise in this movie as Luke Hobbs. He is just a no mess around kind of guy, and he wants to capture this entire group and send them to jail, but they are not having it. And on top of all of that, they're trying to pull off an epic heist. And I gotta say, again, I like the heist element in these movies more than the drag racing, and they just happen to drive fabulous cars. So that is my number 1 choice of the franchise, is Fast 5. Let me know down below, what is your number 1 choice for the Fast and Furious franchise? Say that 5 times fast. What is your ranking? Let me know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.